intelligence is all about figuring out what people don't want me to know, putting together the puzzle when it's not obvious. And every answer I need is in the back of your head. So why am I guessing? Show me the answer.
Just tell me, right?
So I was cheap. Yeah, I was cheap.
So is that really hypnosis, or is it just kind of so what's
Again,
the definition?
To me, hypnosis is just a set of tools that allow me to get access, more direct access to your unconscious mind, typically by getting into an altered mental state called trance, right? And if you look at kind of brainwaves, it's like you got the beta waves, where you're like waking state, alpha waves are kind of like a meditative state. Theta is that kind of like bridge between sleep and waking, that sort of like a drowsy space in between, and then delta is sleep. Hypnosis is getting in that theta state. Okay. That sort of bridge between the conscious and the unconscious world, waking and sleep. So now I can talk to both of them at the same time. I can use it as a bridge across those, right? So now I have access to both. What you do when you're down there, that's the secret sauce. That's the magic. That's up to you, right? Some people use that, make people do stupid stuff on stage. Right? I use this like, show me why you're doing what you're doing. You're doing it on purpose. There's a reason for it. Show me the reason. Because if I can understand that, I can change that. Then you don't have to do the stupid stuff anymore, right? So use it more as a mechanical thing, as a explore the system, put the pieces of logic together, and then rewrite the stories, come to different conclusions. Because if you as a person go from I'm not good enough and I can't protect myself to I'm good enough and I'm strong, well, that means you can move through the world very differently. Right.
A whole new world.
Like it's a completely different world. Right. And all we did was just change what some stuff means in your back of your head. That's it.
So is that kind of like why people, when they say meditate, they kind of want you in that theta state? Go ahead.
No, again, meditation is kind of that alpha state. So it's sort of like it's slower than the beta waking state, but you're not down in theta. Okay. Right. It's hard to get down there on your own. There's self-hypnosis, things like that. And there's some forms of meditation like yoga nidra that get you down there. But the vast majority of meditation is getting that alpha state. Right. You're just slowing down the thoughts, slowing down the emotions, just kind of getting to a place where you're like centered and calm and you can kind of let things go. Right. But it doesn't necessarily get you access to the unconscious mind. That's hard to do on your own. Like it's hard to be the surgeon and the patient at the same time. You know what I mean? Right. The more active your conscious mind is, the less active your unconscious mind can be. So if you want consciously directive trance, like how's that really supposed to work? It doesn't typically work very well. So there's a certain amount of control you have to let go, because basically what you're doing, you're taking the conscious mind and putting it in the back seat and let the unconscious mind drive. There can only be one guy driving the car at the time. Right.
Absolutely.
So it's about shifting who's running the show so that you can play with a different part of your mind and do different work.
Okay. That's neat. Never thought about that. So how did you come about, becoming a hypnotist and then using your superpower, right? Using superpowers for good instead of
for good. Yeah. Well, like I said, I was doing a lot of work in 2019 and 2020, especially trying to figure out the dating thing. And one of the groups I was in, there's a hypnotist. Let's talk about like toxic shame and emotional baggage. Like, well, raised Catholic, got some of that. So sat down in this session with him and just felt lighter. Carrying around 50 pounds of stuff, get rid of 20 pounds, everything's easier. Right. And it's about that time in my career, I'm realizing, the world doesn't want to be saved, time to move on. I thought about becoming a psychologist, but that's like 6 years and $500,000 to get my PhD, which is unappealing in your 40s, right? I still wouldn't be licensed as a psychologist yet if I'd gone down that road, right? But I got certified as a hypnotist in like 6 weeks for $2,000. I was like, all right, cool. Let me go ahead and just like dip my feet and see if there's something I want to do. Well, I got certified in February 2020. 2 weeks later, everything shuts down because of the pandemic. Right. Everything I was doing is classified. I can't work from home. So I got nothing but time. Right. So, threw it up online, a bunch of these groups like, hey, I just got certified. Who wants to play? Realized it's like, getting some interesting results. People are seeing some pretty big changes really fast. Cool. Did some more training, launched my business in April 2020, went full time in October 2020. Been doing it full time ever since. Right. But it's that idea of like, I can help people. I can make changes. I can do it faster than most other ways. And I'm good at it. Right. Because I get to leverage that superpower, looking at belief structures. Do that stuff all the time, right? Reverse engineering systems, reverse engineering black boxes, figuring out stuff I don't want, people don't want me to know. Easy day, right? So it's like I said, it's kind of cheating because I know where the answers are. I just got to ask the right questions, right? And I know how to do that.